All right, guys, joining me at this time is yet another participant in the PFL. This time it's going to be for the women's lightweight division. The tallest PFL woman to ever step into the cage, Miss Laura Sanchez. How you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing very well. How excited are you to finally get this, under wraps? I know everyone was getting ready to start the 2020 season, then COVID hit, so you kind of had to take a step back. How excited are you to finally get this season underway?
I've been waiting a long time for an opportunity, so I'm pretty happy. It was a bummer when everything got postponed, but at the end of the day, the whole world got postponed. So we just kind of had to make the best of the situation. So I think that it was a blessing in disguise because during that off time, there was no pressure of fights coming up.
Yeah.
So I really got to work on improving and adding more tools to my arsenal. So I'm even more excited now that the season is here because even my last fight being my pro debut, I'm not even that fighter anymore. So I'm pretty excited about the whole thing.
When I look around at other fighters, I think that this year off could have hindered them. But for you, it really was the quite opposite. It kind of most was the best case scenario for you because you really got to, just evolve yourself even more.
Definitely. I took advantage of that. I think that already having the experience of being in MMA and always having fights fall through, just nothing was working out. And I was always training for the next fight. I always had kind of pressure on my back because I was like, okay, so I'm getting ready for this next fight. And I never really got to relax and really enjoy the process. And I was mentally getting more and more frustrated as fights weren't working out. So now when I was signed with PFL and then everything was postponed, thankfully I remained signed with them. So I didn't have any pressure or wondering about what's going on.
Yeah.
So I really got to just enjoy the whole process and have fun and start opening up. So it was a really good atmosphere when we got to train.
And having Duke there, I mean, that must have just made everything so much more easier to be at ease, to have that voice of reason to, bring you back to the light.
Yeah, definitely. He was really focused on having a positive atmosphere because, like I said, everybody was going through a lot, and all you can do is make the best of everything. So while it's really easy to focus on the negatives, we just did a really good job of going in, having fun as a team, and he did good at leading that.
And now also, too, unlike the 2020 season, you have your teammate, Anthony Pettis, who's going to be joining you in the 2021 season. So it's almost a little easier for you guys to do it all now.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. It was at first, obviously it was just me. And then when he decided to make that move, it was pretty quick. So I don't know. It's pretty exciting. It's the next phase of his career.
Yeah.
He's kind of basically done everything in the UFC.
Truly.
He's been here forever. I think that he's a legend, and I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame. So now it's just, I think for him, he's just really enjoying life. So it's going to be really cool for both of us to be in PFL.
Yeah, you guys are maybe not fighting on the same cards, but at least around the same time, you guys would be preparing together, maybe possibly even traveling together. So, just having that person to be there. And then obviously, everything that he's done, like you just alluded to be able to pick his brain if you have the opportunity to, just ask him all the little intricate questions that you need to do. I feel like that's really helpful for you.
It is. All the years that I've been there. So before I actually joined the team, I used to sit and watch Duke hold pads for him and like Eric Koch and all the top teams that were there, or all the top names that were there. So I always watched and kind of learned the different things that they worked on, the small details, the fun things, and kind of got to see how his brain worked a little bit just from observation. And now each time that I've trained with him, we don't train a lot together, actually. He trains earlier in the day. I have a full-time job, so I'll go in the evening. But the times that I do get to train with him, I always take the opportunity to pick his brain and kind of, get help from him in some different tools. So he's a really good person to train with.
Yeah, you're 1-0 right now. Probably have the youngest experience, in your MMA career at everybody in that division. Kayla Harrison also only has a couple fights in her MMA career. We have a lot of women who are blossoming into their own. How do you feel like, going up against somebody like Kayla? Obviously she's a judoka gold medalist. She's won last year's PFL. If you plan on winning this whole thing, you're going to have to most likely go through Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Of course, I've had my eye on her. I've also had my eye, like, before I, knew about her when I was younger, I was always eyeing the best. So I was looking at Chris Cyborg. and Ronda and all those big names, because I was like, one of these days, I'm gonna grow up. Like, damn, sorry.
No,
I'm
you're good.
gonna blow up, and I know that I'm gonna have the opportunity to face some of the best names at the time. So now in PFL, it is Kayla. So yeah, I have my eye on her, but I also have my eye on the other women too, because it's not just her. I have to get through them as well. So everybody offers something different. Yes, we know that she's a judo gold medalist, but other people are strikers. We have other ground game players. So
Possibility
I'm
with
just excited.
Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, Clarissa. Everybody knows about her too. So I actually get really excited about the opportunity to face the best, because if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best, right?
Exactly.
So if you're not excited about that as a fighter, I don't really know if you should be a fighter.
And I feel like for women who especially want to be in this 155-pound division, PFL is the best for them. They actually have an
Yeah.
established division, and it's something where a lot of you guys are blossoming and really making this division what it needs to be.
Yeah, definitely. It was hard when I had to try to make myself cut down to 145, because for a long time that was the highest weight class, but
Yeah.
it was just unhealthy, and I was just a completely different fighter. And I feel like if I didn't have the opportunity to fight at 155, I don't know how long I really would have been able to, keep trying to be a fighter and be
Mhm.
successful. So, because health is everything. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to perform. So when they added 155, I took the opportunity. Duke and I had talked about my weight and my health, and he was just like, PFL's got it, so you're moving up. And I was like, great. And since then, I did a whole 180, and it's been a really big opportunity for me.
So you could tell the difference in your body from 145 to 155.
Definitely. I was I was a lot skinnier, lost a lot of muscle. I was My face was kind of sucked in. I was not happy as a person because I was so concentrated on
Right.
it. And when you're not really enjoying what you do, yeah, there's going to be hard days, but you should still enjoy what you're supposed to love, right?
Mhm.
So if I wasn't really enjoying it was just all negative, and I was always injured. And injuries happen all the time, but when you're just not healthy, they're going to happen a lot more. And that's what was happening with me. It was also like, because my body wasn't up to par, my brain knew what I needed to do, but my body couldn't follow. So it was really frustrating. So 155 not now allows me to just walk around in my natural way, and just, like I said, completely different.
Yeah, Kayla Harrison mentioned the same thing that, we have seen her fight at 45 recently, but before, I believe in the last season, she mentioned she wouldn't drop down to 45, that she thought it set a bad example for the younger generation of fighters that are coming up, to not have to
Mm-hmm.
put your body through that.
Yeah, I think that people are starting to realize that cutting weight, while there are benefits of, cutting and then being able to put on some weight back overnight, and possibly having that advantage over your opponent, it's not always that advantage. It's You went through a traumatic weight cut, your body's still recovering, you're not completely healthy, and maybe someone who didn't have to cut as much is a lot better off. So I actually felt that way, because it's like, for women, we only have so many divisions. Men
Yeah,
can go in any weight class. So it frustrates me,
you're
honestly, because
almost
I'm
every
like, a
10
lot of guys,
pounds.
yeah, a lot of guys are like, oh, I'm going to drop down to this weight class. Well, why? You don't have to. It's If you're fine where you're at and you're winning, why try to put yourself through that? It's just not worth it. And like I said, there's only so many times that your body can handle those extreme weight cuts.
Yeah.
When I made 46, I was never able to get down there again after that. That was the one time I could make it. Happened to be the one fight that I lost for LFA. And like I said, I just learned a lot just from that.
Yeah, I actually, this weekend's main event, Gilbert Burns, him and I talked before multiple times, especially when he was a lightweight. And
Hmm.
he, conveyed to me that there was situations where he would drop 40 pounds before a fight. And he would even
Yeah.
try to cut like 20 pounds the week of, like just extreme stuff that people put their bodies through. And obviously now, as you see him as a welterweight, he's,
Hmm.
found so much success, and now he's on the doorstep of a title shot.
Yeah. Actually, there was another fighter when before I joined the fight team, who he was in the UFC, and he would tell me that the morning of weigh-ins, he could cut like 10 or 15 pounds of water weight it was
Crazy.
just a normal thing for him. And I was that's insane because as women, we can't cut weight as easy. It takes
Yeah,
way longer for me to cut that weight. And for me to just cut a couple pounds of water is a lot for me. So guys can do it. It just seems like so much easier, but they still push their limits.
for
I don't agree
sure,
with it.
100%. It's one thing that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's one thing that I feel like one FC has definitely found the right way to
Mm-hmm.
do it. You know, stay hydrated, fight within
Mm-hmm.
your own weight classes, and don't try to do these extreme weight cuts. It's really the bad side of the sport, honestly, when you look at it, because you really don't know, especially the long-term effects that you were having on
Yeah.
these fighters.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like I said, you don't know how many times your body can go through that.
Yeah,
So we're already putting our body through hell when we step into a cage and just
yeah,
fight each other. As if you can't really be any more harsh on your body. You're already going through the fight of a weight cut beforehand. So, and again, like I said, when you cut so much, you're also so concentrated on it where your mind is just on that instead of the fight itself. So at least with me cutting to 55, I'm a lot more relaxed. Yes, I think about my weight cut, but it's a lot easier for me to make. And again, after I made 46, my body wouldn't let me do it anymore. It held on to everything I put in. So,
oh, here we go, 155 PFL
yeah.
2021. Man, I'm excited for this. What really brought you into martial arts? So, what attracted you to combat sports? Because you were originally a basketball player, correct?
Yeah. I actually wanted to be in martial arts since I was little, but before I play ball. But I've played ball really since I can remember. And the only reason that I was able to take off with that was because it just happened to be more affordable than martial arts.
I
Um,
get it.
yeah, so it's like, it was like 20 something dollars for me to take part in the basketball team and a pair of basketball shoes versus a monthly membership at a dojo. And I always wanted to do it. Like I said, I didn't care what discipline. Could have been taekwondo, karate, boxing, whatever. I wanted to do it. But yeah, I ended up going to play ball, which I still loved. I still miss it. It's like my lifetime that I was just always playing. So I can watch here and there, but I'm always so busy now with martial arts that I don't really even watch it anymore. I still love watching the highlights though.
No, for sure. Who's your team?
Um, I don't really think that I have any teams. I like watching certain players. Like I
So you
actually
like
just
let's
reposted
go
like
with that.
Kyrie Irving.
Oh,
Like
I
I
like
like
Kyrie.
yeah, he's always fun to watch. Steph Curry. Of course, everybody likes to watch LeBron, but some of my all-time favorite players were like T Mac and Vince Carter.
Yeah.
I always loved Derrick Rose and Allen Iverson for sure.
Okay.
I told a friend of mine, I have the 76ers shorts from the Allen Iverson era,
Yeah.
and I wore them a couple years ago, and it was when the Sixers weren't really that great. And some younger kid was like, oh, the Sixers? Why are you wearing their shorts? I was like, you don't know about this era. Stay in your lane.
Exactly, man. That Allen Iverson
Yeah.
team. Listen, my favorite team's the Lakers. I grew up in Los Angeles. I was born and raised on Los Angeles basketball. So
Hmm.
the most intriguing matchup I felt we ever had in the playoffs and in the finals was that Allen Iverson team, because we were in
Yep.
2001 probably one of the best teams that's ever played, and
Hmm.
that is the only team that actually beat that team in the playoffs. And Allen Iverson pretty much single-handedly did it himself.
Yeah. You know who else I really liked watching was Ray Allen for a really long time.
As
Just because
effortlessly
even
shoot.
though yeah his shot, I used to try to emulate the same shot that he had, and I could do it. I got really good at shooting where I could kind of just alter how I was shooting, just like that. I could be in a game and just let the ball go up. I just always spent so much time on the shooting gun during my during my off time. So I would always try to shoot like him, but I don't think I ever got that far.
He's so
Obviously.
good. Like even with like a hand in his face, he could close his eyes and hit it probably.
Yeah, I used to actually do that in practice too, because I would shoot. I got really good where I was near the volleyball line, and I was a post
Oh,
player,
nice.
but I still hung around the outside. And it got to the point
You're
where
like
my
a new
coaches,
age five.
yeah, and like my coaches were like, just shoot the ball every time you get it. You're the best shooter. And I was like, okay. So if someone had their hand in my face, like it could be right here, I would still shoot it because you're either gonna foul me or you're gonna let me get the ball up. So it was fun to do that stuff.
So after you transitioned from basketball to MMA, what brought you to Rufus Sport? Obviously, Duke is a great mind and a great person to have on your side, but what else was it that intrigued you to go to Rufus Sport?
Um, well, I trained at Rufus Sport between my junior and senior year in college because I wanted to add a different type of conditioning to my workout. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
want to
bet you
keep.
your cardio is great with the basketball too.
Oh yeah, it was. It was definitely good. But the other thing is, sometimes there's different types of cardio. So, agility, running up and down a basketball court isn't going to be the same as running miles.
Yeah,
And then just again, martial arts or hitting a bag, you're working muscles and a piece of cardio that's like never been touched, right? So it's all different. So when I took the fitness class at Rufus Sport, I went back my senior year and I passed my physical test like ASAP, our conditioning test. It was the first time I passed it on the very first try. And I think that it was because of that conditioning class at Rufus Sport. But when I was done playing ball, I made this a semi-pro team, worked with a pro tour team, and then the door kind of just shut on basketball. So when I went home, I was trying to find where would be the best team here in Milwaukee that I can join for. I just looked up boxing. It was just the first thing that I looked up. And Rufus Sport was the first thing. It was the first team that popped up. I looked at the history. I looked at how great they were. I looked at Duke, and I was just like, okay, this would be worth, me seeing what they have there. And I fell in love like the first day I went. So
perfect match then.
yeah, definitely. I feel like it was meant to be though, because he's a legend. He's known as one of the best coaches in MMA. And at the time, he was right down the street from my house. So I was like, it was right there.
Yeah, he's proven commodities all over the place. I mean, you look
Hmm.
at even like Emmanuel Sanchez is fighting Pitbull for the title here
Yep.
coming up. Like, you
Yeah.
guys have true killers all over the place at Rufus Sports. And then Duke, man, I mean, even his own martial arts career, very, very legendary career. Even
Hmm.
now putting it into coaching as well, he's really
Hmm.
done it all.
Yeah, for sure. He's been through all of that. And now he as a coach, he knows how to train us as a fighter as well. So, like for instance, when he holds pads for us, he will spar us while he's holding pads. So in my mind, I'm like, well, he was a heavyweight, so if I can
Yeah,
spar with him and he's teaching me how to handle him, I know I can spar with some of the greatest. He's a big guy. I have to be able to move him with my punches and my striking. And then again, you mentioned Manny. He's great on the feet, but he's also great on the ground. So I have
yes.
killers everywhere in every aspect of MMA. We have wrestlers, Rafion Stats. And like
So
I said,
amazing.
yeah, like you watch how he moves and his accomplishments. So I have someone there to teach me any aspect of MMA.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, Pettis brothers is there as well.
Yep.
Very deep history over there at Rufus Sports.
Hmm.
What are you looking to come out of this 2021 season for you as a whole? Like, obviously, as it's said and done, you would love to win, be the champion, but what are you just looking to come out of it?
Um, well, of course, want to be the champion. I would love to win the $1 million and change my life this year, but those are the obvious things.
Hmm.
Um, but I just love MMA. I love training. I love learning new things. I love to challenge myself. So what I'm looking at is just this is really the cream of the crop of the 155 division for women. And
Truly.
yeah, we're growing, and now we have more women who are able to start fighting because, like I said before, it was just 145. So I'm looking forward to challenging myself against some of the top women. We know that Cindy, how do you say her last name? Is it Dandois or
Yeah, Dandois,
yeah, she's she's been in like the different top promotions. She has the experience. You look at other women,
Larissa Pacheco as well.
yeah, her fight against Kayla. So just knowing how good these women are, what I'm looking forward to is just challenging myself and coming out on top and knowing what I'm capable of, and then again doing it again next year.
Yeah. So have you signed down for next year as well already?
No, I'm just speaking it into
It's gonna
fruition.
already gonna get that into existence. No, I'm
Yeah.
excited for this lightweight division. I'm excited to see you continue to grow. With obviously we're now in a whole pandemic and everything going on. We're stuck in
Hmm.
a bubble. All your fights are going to be in Las Vegas. How do you feel about
Hmm.
fighting in the mecca of sports entertainment for fighting?
I mean, I've never been out there, so it'll be exciting. But then again, when we're out there, we're going to be quarantined anyway.
Yeah,
So
you're stuck.
yeah, it's cool the idea of being out there, but I don't really know how much I'll really be able to enjoy Vegas, you
Well,
know? So
maybe
it's all
after
going
the
to
fight,
be
after you win that
maybe.
million, you can take a vacation.
Yeah, after the million, definitely. I plan to take a vacation and get a house. Um, and then, like I said, just I don't know. I want to be able to enjoy places that I haven't been before. So I think that this is just the beginning of my career, my pro career period. So
Excellent. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I know you're in between training sessions, so I appreciate you doing this for us. But before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to give a shout out to your teammates, loved ones, sponsors, anyone that's really helped you along your MMA journey.
yeah, definitely. Of course, my team at Rufus Sport, I've got my coaches Duke, Scott Cushman, and then Gerald Mirashart, training with Manny, the Pettis brothers, and Rafian. There are a lot of guys that I can name. They've all been there since I started, so they've helped me a lot as well. Shout out with my parents, my family, um, and then the sponsors. I have Unparalleled Greatness. I'm sponsored by her. She's my nutritionist, as well as Cryo Vibe, and then a Combat Corner, of course.
And where can the fans find you on social media?
So I have my Instagram page, Laura Sanchez MMA, and then you can find me on Facebook. I have a fan page on there as well.
And then do they know what card you guys are going to be fighting on? The women?
I know our first one is gonna be May 6th.
May 6th. Are you excited about that?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm just like I said, I've been waiting a long time for an opportunity, and I think that everything happens for a reason. And I've just really taken the opportunity to keep growing. And now I'm entering PFL kind of as a mystery because, like I said, I've only
Right.
got one pro fight. They can look me up and just see that, but like I said, I'm not even that same fighter, so
Yeah, with this
I'm excited.
pandemic, there's so much evolution going on that people aren't even
Hmm.
realizing. And I feel like we're about to see a huge growth in this sport.
Definitely. Yeah.
Now, I can't wait for May. I'm excited for it. I will be there in the house when it goes down, so I can't wait to do it. But I want to do this again too once they
Okay.
announce matchups, and we'll do it maybe like a week or two before the fight, and we'll have you on again for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
No, of course, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Sanchez.